Hi, this is Matthew from Apple Certified Mac Specialist YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about what Mac to purchase. I'm going to be showing you different desktops or multiple desktops, the system that I currently run, and of course the space that I utilize, and also to give you advice on your RAM and also your physical hard drive. Well, any 2017 MacBook Air or Pro is more than ample, depending on your usage. In my case here, you can see I use a lot. I use Adobe Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, Adobe Premiere. I still have my two email applications running, which is email, which I love. Fun enough, that's a third party. I find it better, fun enough, in a sense, to Outlook when it receives mails. But okay, that's for another day. But if you look there again, there's fonts. I have my Safari also open at the same time. Just to give you a rough idea of my particular system, I run 32 gigs of RAM. I run the iMac 2015 5K screen, and also I have 21 terabytes of external hard drive space or server space that I utilize. This is a little bit maybe over and excessive, but I have learned in the past backup, and more backups are better than zero, or even one, for example, because if one's a failure, you have something else to back up at the same time. So, with all that said and done, if you're going to be utilizing, like myself, all of these physical applications at the same time, and even third-party applications, then yes, 32 gigs of RAM and the external space is going to be required because we're doing Photoshop, we're doing, for example, which is again massive amounts of space that's required, and even when it comes to your video editing, also large amounts of space. On the right, you can just see, for example, I'm just playing with my widgets, but again, that's open. So 32 gigs in this particular case is more than enough. You don't have to go to 64, 128, or 761. The only time you would do that is unless I would assume you're going to be running something to space or NASA, but I would again suggest 32 gigs if you're going to be doing graphic design or any video editing things. Video editing may even require more cores. For example, you can go for 6, 8, 10 or higher. And again, your RAM is going to make a huge difference when it comes to purely professional video editing. But I'm not doing professional video editing. Mine is just, if I say basic video editing, and then of course professional Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign documentation. So all that being said and done, if you're going to be using your Mac purely for emails, web searches, and documents, then any MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, the M1, for example, is more than adequate to do your work. I would suggest try and get an 8 gig machine and higher. If you're going to be using it, your laptop for design, then I would go for 16. I wouldn't go for 8. If you're going for your 21-inch, just remember that you can't upgrade your 21 inches. So it's always better to get a higher machine so that you can actually physically add more RAM. In my case, what I did was add an additional SSD instead of the HDD, and then of course the additional RAM. So I basically maxed my machine out as much as possible, so that I get the best out of it as much as possible. I do find that when running, of course, my hard drives, as well as the machine, we get a high end temperature, but I'll talk about that in another episode. Well, I hope today's episode has really helped you, to show you there, for example, your four cores that I utilize, and again, the fan speed and also your temperature. But please, I'm going to be hoping that you will subscribe to my channel more often. And also, I hope to see you in the next episode. Thanks, guys. Ciao.